For like 1,400 years, a really fascinating mystery has been hiding in plain sight, right at the start of 29 chapters of the Qur'an. Well, today we're diving into a pretty radical new theory that claims these aren't divine secrets at all, but actually a suppressed guide to personal transformation, just waiting for us to decode. And that's the central question the author, Ali Rizvi, puts right on the table. It's a really powerful hook, you know? It challenges centuries of tradition and totally sets the stage for a completely new way of looking at some of the most mysterious symbols in the sacred text. Okay, so before we jump into the author's, well, this pretty groundbreaking theory, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what these mysterious letters actually are. So picture this. At the beginning of 29 chapters, or surahs of the Qur'an, you find these standalone letter combinations. They're known as the Muqattaʿāt, and for centuries, their real purpose and meaning have been this huge puzzle for scholars. Now, for a very, very long time, the traditional take has been that these disjointed letters are basically a divine secret. The whole idea is that their meaning is known only to God and that they're intentionally put there to be beyond our understanding, almost like a test of faith in the things we can't possibly know. But this is where author Ali Rizvi just flips the whole thing on its head. He says, hold on, what if this isn't a divine mystery at all? What if it's something way more practical, something that he claims was deliberately hidden from us? I mean, the contrast here couldn't be more stark, right? On one hand, you've got this untranslatable divine mystery. And on the other, you have the author's claim that these letters are actually a suppressed spiritual technology, a practical guide for self-actualization that was basically hijacked by human interpretation. Okay, so the big question is why? Why would anyone suppress this kind of knowledge? Well, according to the author, it all comes down to one thing: control. He argues that by framing these powerful letters as some unsolvable mystery, early religious authorities kept everybody dependent on them for spiritual guidance. It prevented people from accessing what he believes is a tool for their own self-realization. So if these aren't just mysterious symbols, then how in the world do we decode them? Well, his methodology is pretty fascinating. It goes way, way back to the very origins of the letters themselves. The whole foundation for his work is this idea that every single letter of the Arabic alphabet carries an intrinsic symbolic meaning that comes from ancient Proto-Semitic pictographs. You can think of it like linguistic archaeology, digging past all the modern interpretations to find the original visual meaning of each character. Let's look at a few examples to really see what he means. So take the letter Aleph. He argues it traces all the way back to the pictograph of an ox head, which symbolizes strength. Makes sense, right? Or Lam, which comes from a shepherd's staff, meaning connection. Mim comes from the symbol for water, representing a source or flow. And Ayn comes from an eye, signifying vision or essence. And to make this really tangible, the author decodes his own name, Ali. He breaks it down: Ayn for vision, Lam for connection, and Ya for hand or action. So when you combine them, he interprets his name to mean one who connects inner vision to outward action. It turns a name into a personal mission statement. It's pretty cool. And this is really where it all comes together. See, he doesn't just stop at defining the letters. No, he combines these ancient root meanings to create what he calls a practical toolkit, a toolkit for personal development and manifestation. He reinterprets the Muqattaʿāt combinations as specific directives or moods. For instance, Alif Lam Mim becomes the anchor, a tool for grounding yourself. Yasin becomes the decisive hand for when you need to take bold action. Each combination is framed as a state of being that you can consciously step into. All right, let's break one of these moods down so you can see exactly how it works. We'll take Alif Lam Mim, which he calls the anchor. By putting together the root meanings of strength for Aleph, connection for Lam, and source for Mim, he gets this compound meaning: strength anchored to the source through connection. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's translated into a super simple meditative exercise. For the anchor, he suggests a breathing technique. You inhale while mentally chanting Aleph to feel strength. You hold your breath with Lam to visualize connection, and then you exhale with Mim to imagine flow. But it doesn't stop there. The practice is then paired up with some real self-inquiry. So after the breathing exercise, you're prompted to ask yourself a highest self question that comes from the letter's meaning. This connects these ancient symbols directly to your life today, prompting some serious reflection and personal growth. So you can see the really crucial takeaway from all this isn't just about learning new definitions for old letters. It's really about a fundamental shift in perspective. Ultimately, what this framework tries to do is transform these letters from something you just passively accept as a mystery into something you can actively use as a tool. They become a kind of personal technology for enlightenment, for self-management, and for connecting with your own inner potential. And that leaves us with a pretty big thought to chew on. I mean, what if the author is right? Could the true power of these ancient symbols lie not in their divine mystery, but in their ability to act as a mirror for our own inner journey? That's definitely something to reflect on. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.